Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I am back at home, but I figured it would be nice to film outside today because it's not that warm now in the evening. As the title of this video suggests, I have a few books to show you because I bought a decent amount, more than decent amount in France, and my mother also lent me a few. Not sure if I have to give them back, we'll see about that, if she remembers or not. So I'm gonna show them to you. First, I'm gonna start with the books that my mother brought. The first is from Simone de Beauvoir, Mémoires d'une jeune fille, rangée. This is a French classic, we'll say, about the very well-known author Simone de Beauvoir, author of The Second Sex. And this translates to The Memoirs of a Beautiful Daughter, and it's the first part actually of Simone de Beauvoir's memoirs, and in this one she meets Sartre. Simone de Beauvoir and Sartre were partners throughout their whole lives, even though they had a... Oh, by the way, you might see some bunnies at some point. They were partners throughout their whole lives, basically. Sorry for the extra sound. We're outside. I was hoping for birds, but apparently not. Simone de Beauvoir. Then we have got the complete works of Colette, and they're in this, in France, very chic and well-known edition called the Books of La Plage. So I've got Claudine à l'école, Claudine à Paris, Claudine en ménage, Claudine s'en va, all about this Claudine character, and L'ingénue libertine, La retraite sentimentale, Lévry de la vigne, and La vagabonde. I think I'm going to start with the last one, with La vagabonde, which would translate to The Vagabond, because Pauline from Dancing read it recently and said she liked it. So, all of Colette's novels. Have to put them back in the box now. Then I have got a book from an author from Haiti called Yanick, Lahens, and the book is called Fille. It was not translated, and this would translate to Flaws, and it is about, I think it's a memoir, at least non-fiction, about what happened in Haiti after the earthquake that happened in 2010, and it paints the picture of Haiti, also the social flaws, the economical flaws, the political flaws, etc. So I'm very curious to read this book, so it's not very big. But I'm hoping to learn from that country. Other French well-known book is Bonjour, tristesse by Françoise Sagan. This was translated to many languages, including English, and in English it actually kept this title. I'm sorry if Luna's drinking. Oh no, it's Ludo who's drinking. Anywho. Bonjour, tristesse, and this is about a 17-year-old girl who spends her summer at the French Riviera, and her very easy and life is disturbed when her father brings home one of his female friends. I've actually already read this, but I was, I think, 16 at the time, and I could not appreciate it a lot, so I'm hoping that this time it will be different, as Françoise Sagan is one of the few female authors. Then I've got the books that I bought myself. First got a few random things and then some historical fiction. The first of the more, I'm calling it random, but it was just me nosing around because in France, in the city where my grandmother lives, there are 4 bookshops. The one that I hoped to find things was closed, one had nothing, and then the other did not have anything that I wanted, but I found some things that I didn't know I wanted. And then the other also did not have what I wanted, so I bought some other things to compensate, because that's how life is. Anyway, this is by Yasmina Khadra, and it's called Qu'attendent les singes. It's been translated to a couple of languages, including German and Spanish and Italian, from what I could see, but not English, and this title means What Are the Monkeys Waiting For? And it's a political thriller about a 17-year-old girl who is found dead near Alger, the capital of Algeria, and usually I don't read political thrillers because they're just not my thing. Honestly, I sometimes just don't understand what's happening. But this one apparently shows a lot of what Algeria is like in current day life and all of the things happening. So I'm anxious to start this. And he had a lot of other books, and my mother said he was a good author. So this one. Then we've got another tiny little book which is called Nos vies désaccordées by Gaëlle Josse. This one also was not translated, but it would be translated to Our Out of Tune Lives or something like that, and it's about a pianist who discovers that his... Will you stop drinking? I swear. Rabbitses. It's about a pianist who discovers that his ex is in a psychiatric institution, and he abandons his life to go find her again. And as he is a pianist, one of the things that he does, but she does apparently as well, is listen to a lot of, in this case, Schumann to cope with what's going on in their brains. I thought it was nice to read something that has music again in it, so I'm anxious to start this. And then we've got another book. This was translated from Icelandic. The author is Einar Már Gudmundsson, and the book is in French called Un été norvégien and would in English be called A Norwegian Summer. It was once again not translated in English yet, and it's about a young group of people from Iceland who go for a trip. They're supposed to go to India, and they end up spending a summer in Norway, and it's all set in 1978, so I'm expecting to taste life at that time and the freedoms that there were and what a summer when you were young felt like. Also, I really, really like this cover. It was the main reason I was drawn to the book. Then we have got a Japanese book that I got translated in French, and in French it's called Au nom du Japon by Hiro Onoda, and in English it's called No Surrender, My 30-Year War. And this is a memoir of a Japanese soldier who was in the jungles in the Philippines when the Second World War ended, and as there was absolutely no communication, he and the other 3 soldiers that were with him never learned that the Second World War was over. So the other soldiers do sometimes disappear or go away, decide I'm going to see what's out there because they never hear anything, but he stays in the jungle for 29 years and stays at war for 29 years. Looking forward to this. Then we've got the 3 historical fiction. I'm going to say 3 books, but in fact some are 3 books of a series put together, so this is actually 3 books in one. And this is called Le Grand Magasin by Marylene Pion, which translates to the big department stores, the big stores, the department stores. Not translated in English. The books of the series are called La Convoitise, l'Opulence et la Chute, which would translate to The Wanting, The Opulence, and The Fall. And it is set in Montreal, starts in 1926, and it's about young people. In the first book, it's a man and a woman who start working in these big department stores, and they're all hardworking, and it's very light-hearted, and the characters are flat and honorable, and you know they're going to fall in love. At least that's my expectation. And usually this is not the kind of book that I read, but it's, I don't know, I felt like reading something that was so positive and full of people that are just hardworking, working for their mother, and etc, etc. And I'm hoping to taste a bit of what Canada does. It's because it's in a big department store, it makes me think of Au Bonheur des Dames by Émile Zola, which was also set in one of these big department stores that takes over Paris. So I'm wondering what the differences will be. Another book that I have the series in one book of is this one. Is called Les Cajots d'Aquitaine, also not translated, and it's about the Cajots of Aquitaine. And the Cajots were apparently, I just found this out today, a group of people, a persecuted minority in Western France, and also the north of Spain apparently. They weren't some kind of religious group or racial group or anything. They were just descendant from the Cajot family, and they had to live separated from other people. They weren't allowed to have certain jobs, etc, etc. I knew nothing about this, so I'm curious to see what I will learn. And the 3 books are called Le Gardien des Sables, which would translate to The Guardians of the Sand, La Porte des Maudits, The Door of the Cursed, and La Baronne Blanche, The White Baroness. Sometimes words are difficult. Why did I have to think about what white was like? So we've got this, another nice little fatty, also very light-hearted, I think. imagine. Last but not least, I have got La Dernière Heure by Minette Walters. This is actually translated from the English, but I really didn't care. I read enough English that I did not care. Also like this cover from this, also historical fiction, and it is set in Dorset in 1348 when it begins, and it's about the Black Plague, which I thought would be interesting and relevant, etc. Especially because Lady Anne in this book has the audacity to name a slave chief to manage the plague and the problems that arose. Looking forward to this as well. Of course, I'm going to look forward to all of the books that I got. I have no idea in what order I'm going to read. I've got a few other library books also that I still have to get to, but I only have to give those back in September, and I don't think I'm going to be going to the library a lot because Corona is showing its tail, its nose, don't know, is around, and Rotterdam is not a place where you necessarily want to be, so I think I'm not going to go to the city centre a lot. I'm curious if any of you have read any of these books. I don't imagine, especially for the historical fiction that I named at the latter part, you would know, but I am curious what you've heard of or what you know from the classical books that I got. Anywho, I will see you guys another time. I have to go talk to my wallet and say how sorry I am, and I won't do this again for a very, very long time. I don't think I've ever bought so many books in my adult life. And before my adult life, I maybe got the books, but it wasn't me buying, and it was just once in a year spree, and I had to do the rest of the year with those books, so yeah. But I wanted to read more French, so this is allowed. I had to compensate for all the English and the Dutch I'm reading. And I'm counting these two as 3 books instead of 1, so really they're not that expensive. Anywho, I need to stop rambling. As you can see, the rabbit still hasn't finished drinking. I will see you in another video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye!